Alright, a very good morning. You're watching the Kokoliriko show that comes every Monday to Friday. My name is Federick Dramadri. I hope you enjoyed the gospel that was played over this morning, and also really you are tuned really to watch what is actually happening. We're going to discuss a lot of issues here, but first things first, people who are watching us from Rural City and then those within or maybe at Rural District, many other districts in Western region, welcome you very much here to watch out or to participate in this show that is really discussing pertinent issues regarding development and also issues of destruction. What is happening where? That's what we want to really know, and also really bring you detailed analysis of the issues. I'm not going to be alone. I'll be joined by one of the biggest, or I may say one of the celebrated journalists here at Western Television. That's where I will be moving forth with most of these issues, but also some of the issues that are coming up. We'll be discussing them up to the hour of 9 a.m. But also those who are watching us from Kokoliriko municipality, yesterday I was there. I share a lot of things, but we'll be discussing them shortly. I appreciate that you have the best environment ever to thrive in. That is the 3 point of East Africa, okay, where you reach Shalem Shala, you see South Sudan, you see Uganda, you see Tanzania, actually DRC. That's where really you are able to see the 3 countries in one place, and you get all the 3 networks. It's only here in West Nile. That's where you'll be able to really touch each country from a tree. That is one of the natural demarcation that God has actually put at the borders. So you'll be able to really go and view that if you only come to Uganda. That's specifically West Nile district of Koboko. And many others who are watching us from Yumbe and talk about Moyo, Jumani, and those in Obungi. We say thank you very much for being a part of this show, but also those who are watching us from actually Pakwach, Yumbe, actually Nebi, and also Zomo. We say thank you very much. Those from Acholi and Langosa regions, welcome you for the show, and also you should be able to participate in this. And also those from Hoima, Shoroti, and many other parts of this country, talk about central and also western regions. We appreciate your participation every day in this show. But also those who are in the diaspora, those from Somalia, Senegal, and also many others that are watching us from online, we say thank you very much. Your participation is very important. We'll be discussing a lot of issues here. First things first, today is at the 6th of December 2023. We are just a few minutes after 7 a.m. and also we'll be taking you up to the hour of 9 a.m. where we'll be having the news in Lugorati brought to you by Mukla Lawrence and his team, that is Farish Mazid, and not forgetting Fete Emmanuel, who are all behind the news in Lugorati there. And also we'll be really taking this with one and only my friend, a senior celebrated journalist who is the head of department, that is Lemangian News, that is in Yalur, and that is Pish Ochak, aka Chelsea. Yeah, he's around, and you'll be able to really have a lot from him. And peace.
Federick, good morning.
Good morning. You're most welcome.
Thank you. I love the energy you have woken up with today. Probably there must be something good. There must be something cooking in the basket.
For sure.
Not in the pocket, but in the basket.
That is it.
Okay.
Sometimes they say secrets are hidden in baskets. That's why they usually say in English, don't let the cat out of the basket.
So probably,
you see that means you should keep the secret
in the basket. Don't let it
we're going to unveil it soon. Yes, and peace.
Yes.
Today's Wednesday, and I see you very smart. Maybe you taught for me a lesson that once we reach Wednesday, we should be smart and see. Yeah. That is the half of the month. People should be able to see the all energy you have. Yes.
Because now this thing started way back a long time ago. We keep saying it is Women's Crash Wednesday. So if you can't be smart on Wednesday, what else do you expect? You have started the Monday, Tuesday, So if you reach like Wednesday, that is middle of the week, you go to Thursday and Friday. So things continues like that.
I hope you have seen your salary very well, man.
My friend, I'm sure my salary very well. The good thing, we have just started the month. But for those of us who have already received, you also spend it carefully because the month is going, we are reaching the right period, and I know some are already investing. I don't know whether for you have invested. Maybe for those who have not yet received, also take heart. Things will work out. Before the right time comes, we don't want to see someone being divorced because of maybe not receiving the salary, this and that. We all understand how the situation is, and probably things work out. Maybe
but of course,
one thing, my salary, I brought a shitenge.
Okay, very good one.
Very good one.
And you remember the president was saying we should be able to impress our African fabrics, and that's why he was saying this second-hand clothes, Uganda should deal away with them and should not really focus so much into bringing or importing most of them and so on, a lot of things. But why I was bringing the issue of money or salaries and so on is you show what is happening in Parliament now, the issues of disparities. Many monies have been smuggled in the supplementary budget, and the other time, just 3 days ago, they tabled 3.5 billion. Okay, 3.5 trillion. So this time we're seeing an increase up to 7.29 trillion that has been also brought back. And many are asking themselves, how did some of these figures get themselves into the supplementary budget? Who wants to eat what at what time? And why should they really hide figures when now you are approving, they say, okay, it was approved, and yet the figures were not really the right ones. This is one thing that is happening in Uganda. Probably if you can make a rough think about it.
Probably, maybe in some seconds, you have posed a very big and good questions. Why are some money being hidden? Why are they not getting maybe the accountability, or they're giving us the accountability of how the money was spent once? Frederick, we all know there are some districts, or there are some municipalities, or there are some departments or sectors in the country who doesn't use the money maybe at the right time. That's why you have been seeing a lot of people taking back the money, because you may give me money to use it for this department, maybe road or this other hospital thing, but maybe due to one and two reasons, I may not be able to use the money that in the right time given. So all I have to do is I have to take it back. I have to take it back to the treasury, and believe me, they can't give you the result that maybe this one gave back this money within a short period of time. They first have to sit down, they compile it, and probably, you know, the pressure at times is also too much. They have to account for what is available. And the good thing, it is called supplementary budget, meaning those are budget outside. In fact, they are more of an emergency budget. And that's why we are seeing the money increasing, and that is one thing which is highly happening in the country.
Do we have, okay, as a country, do we have a surplus in terms of our income, and also really, do we have surplus, or we are on deficit budget?
No.
Uganda general.
We have all the two.
Sure. You can't have the two.
Listen, in Uganda we have all the two.
Because we are approving a lot of supplementary budgets, we should be having excess income.
That's what I'm saying. In Uganda we have all the two. You have both supplementary and surplus, because there's a times we will feel like Uganda will tell you we have a lot of money that needs to be given out to people, and that's when you see a lot of supplementaries coming. And that's why I'm saying that, because when Uganda is to have excess, those are the times when they go to those financial institutions, the World Bank, these other ones, they'll go and get that is excess of loans, excess of money. They pump into the country. That's why you see Uganda having the supplementary budget, and you see those other budgets coming in. But maybe after a short while, they'll run short of the money, and that's when you see the country is not having the supplementary budget we're talking about. But mostly in Uganda, according to me, I don't think we are on the other side. We are on supplementary. Most of the times in Uganda we don't have enough money, and I fail to understand.
And then if we don't have enough money, that means we are running a deficit.
We are running a deficit, but
okay, yeah.
No, in a simple term, Uganda is under a lot of inflation. We are not stable. That's the fact. That's one thing which is affecting the country, Uganda. We are not stable. it's more fluctuation and inflation, because today you see we have a lot of money, the next day they will approve your budget of maybe 6 trillion, but after a few months you'll hear the country is crying, we don't have, that is 2 billion to cater for this thing. And these are some of the things which are happening, and it goes for harmonizing of the budget. If you don't have, be contented with what you have. Otherwise,
that means Uganda is living like someone who is on streets.
Definitely.
Today I might come with Kavera, tomorrow I will not come with it. And maybe, yeah, it's okay. We will talk about much about that. On the highlights of the issues that we have, the push for equality is still going on in terms of the women issues and also the imbalances. Talk about the rural woman who is every time in the village, doesn't have access to bank accounts, is not there in any savings group, but what she knows is brewing nguli and getting access to money from there. And there's no way she or he or she is able to actually tap any government opportunity, because she doesn't have at that time to go and listen to or participate in these workshops and so on, because nobody can bother to invite her. This is where we want to go, and where is the gap? Who is responsible for what gap to be filled? That's what we'll be discussing here partly, but also there are issues about the Balalu, and we have seen the directive from the state minister for northern Uganda, that is Grace Freedom Quichin, who has actually clearly indicated that they're already getting secure and court orders to auction all the animals of the defiant Balalu. That's where we'll be having some of the talks. If you have comments, if you have an issue to share, you'll be able to really get to us right away. But also, many other issues in this country are happening. The IG has released a new report indicating that they collected about 3.6 billion from recovered that from the corrupt officers, and this is after the establishment of the anti-corruption agency, this the State House Anti-Corruption Agency that was established in 2018. Now there have been increasing kind of recoveries that they have been seeing, but is this the best trend we are seeing when we are losing 1.something trillion in a financial year, but we recover only 3.5 billion? Is this where we are able to at least get the recovered money? What is happening when we are reporting a lot of corruption issues? Where are the hiccups? How much do we spend in recoveries? That is where we're also going to do a lot of talks there. But for those of you who will be having issues or comments or reactions about what we are discussing, you should be part of the show up to the hour of 9 a.m. And there are a lot that is also happening across Africa. We have seen the issues of the natural disasters still taking toll in African countries. Now it has shifted to Tanzania, where we have seen the mudslides killing 63 of the people, and then 173 of them are injured. And that's in a lot of injuries, and this is really where the president of the country, that is Samia Suluhu, and has directed a lot of aid to be channeled the other side, and has started cutting budgets to rescue the situation. And still in Tanzania, lightning has actually struck 6 people dead, and this is another issue that is still in Tanzania. Many others in other parts of Africa. Let's take a break from here. We'll be coming back shortly to discuss most of these issues. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Serve your family the bigger feast this Christmas with StarTimes Upgrade to Kongere promotion. Novel customers on antenna decoder simply pay 16,000 shillings per bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy basic bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boeing, series on TLC and Star Life. Even better, we have added all your favorite local channels. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Okay, welcome back from that commercial break. A lot of things, and I hope you are still watching us there. We are here discussing a lot of issues, but for those of you who are there who really want to go for their duties and still keep watching the TV, you can go to YouTube channels and get the Kokoliriko live on YouTube. You'll be able to really watch it up to the dot. But also you can still use the Zuku channel, and that way you'll be able to really catch up with us. And also the Twitter handle is still active, and Facebook. You'll be able to really get some of these shows running there. Up to the end of the day, you'll be having that. And those who are there, they want to participate, you can share with us what you want to share. But also, most importantly, where are you watching us from is very, very key for us to gauge where we are able to reach. And you know, the year is ending. We want to see how many are watching us from which part of this country. We want to see that, and so that we're able to, maybe at the end of the year, you may not know, a surprise gift will be throwing flying anywhere. Fish, you know some of those things.
You know, when the year is ending, or when the year is starting,
most times promotional things come and so
yeah, because we don't want you to start up the new year when you're so sad. The whole of the full year you have been struggling, you have been hustling. So at the end, at least you need to be appreciated for what you have done for the whole 1 year. You may not achieve your target, and you know, they always say gifts and surprises are always very sweet. So when someone surprised you with anything, hey,
I've been seeing a lot of groups, Adzen, West Nile TV group, Greater Madisha region, Aluru sub region, Logbara sub region, and so on. I've been seeing some of these. I have not seen them now today active. What is it? What could be happening? I don't know. We need to really start engaging these people and see what is happening, and see which group is actually the biggest, having the biggest viewership. So that maybe some of them could have rise here to finish the festive season.
But by the way, for them they may think that they are quiet, but for us we know what is on the ground. And even right now we know which group is active and which group is not that active. Only that we don't want to declare them right now, because we may cause some some internal conflicts among the group.
They'll say there's conflict of interest. So
there's conflict of interest that
the final day. Yes.
So if you know maybe you're not all that active, you better pull up because the year have not yet ended. We are yet left with some few weeks. They said better late than never. You may reorganize towards the end and you become the best. The last will always be the first. So we encourage all the teams, be it from where you just start you reorganize. I know they're there, only that they have just been resting. Even they're not sleeping, but just resting. So if you resume, trust me, Federick is here. One day he will announce it officially. Even don't be surprised to see someone being invited to come and testify that
how we are starting it, and also know TV started in 2021, and many have at least been part and passion from the start. So those are the very urgent passions we'll be inviting here.
We call them
you come here and also tell others how you were able to really see the working with the TV, and also how you were able to impact knowledge in the community through sharing a lot of comments and so on from there. I have a colleague, a comrade in the same fraternity from Hoima. He's called George, and this guy works with Spice FM.
Yes.
And he was telling me that he did not know that there was a television like this. Not until he had to go to Zuku and was searching for local televisions, and so West Nile TV was like, what is happening there? He wants to see, and he tuned in and saw us talking about the issues of women, women and the boys going for grasshoppers
with the
underwear attires, and it was like, this is serious, and, and the guy was like, hey, you guy, I did not know that this TV is active. Now, I think I need to start following what is happening in the up country. So this is just by click of a remote, and I was able to see what was happening. So that is the power of media, where we are able to reach very far, and so many places, so many people are able to get the knowledge and really be able to change. Yesterday I took my time to go to Koboko municipality, and there were a lot of things I saw at the border, the issues of businesses booming and so on, and really we've seen a lot of encounters between URA and the community. But my observation there was that all the people you see moving, you may not know whether this is a Ugandan or this is a Congolese, because they speak the same language, they're the same people, the same height, the same character.
They deserve it. We are all East Africans.
So it is a bit difficult. I think the two policymakers, I mean the parliaments, really need to come up with a very good policy that will not really make us to do illicit finance or illicit trade. In terms of amending the policies that we have, the trade policy, you talk about the variation in taxes. If this is done, do you think somebody will really do smuggling?
No.
Because I know if I go and smuggle from DRC, it is the same price. So it is the same price. So why should I really go and get things from the other side? Or even smuggle from Uganda to DRC? It will not happen. Because the prices are the same profit you will have. But now if you go and bring it from Congo, you will incur more loss because you have a lot of transporting incurred. Because now if you look at our tax, I would say tax rate, it's standing around 18%, and now DRC is 13%. That means that is a very big gap. If we want to sit together and bridge it, we'll be able to at least put to an end smuggling.
But there are some people, I always don't understand them. You may even think they were born with the blood or spirit of smuggling. it is the same like
they don't want to use the gazetted roots.
Yeah, it is the same like a child of a rich person may have all the monies, all the food, but you get to be surprised one day to find that the child have stolen, that is a source from the kitchen, and you ask yourself, what is wrong with this child? If you ask, were you hungry? The child will tell you no. This and that, they will tell you no. So things of smuggling, maybe I don't know what we should do to fight against smuggling, Federick. But anyway, we encourage people to avoid some of these things because the end result will backfire to us, it will affect our service delivery. And as I've said, the link between Uganda and the DRC, the Congolese, it is working very, very well. Now, if they're feeling at home, as I've said, almost the population is dominated by people that side. And one thing, the language they speak, almost they are speaking the same language. Then that means if physically you're speaking the same language, why can't you also speak the same language in business so that all the two regions can balance? You may find Uganda is more in terms of income than the Congolese, or the Congolese have more income or more in business than the Ugandans. So if we combine together, we speak the same language, the same business language, things will mash out very well.
Okay, please, I talked about the rural woman, and there are issues about some of the people, the citizens especially, who are rural based. I happen to go up to the sub-county of the sub-county that is hosting refugees in the Kokoliriko district, and if you go to Lobule now, you will realize that there are some people, some communities who have never benefited. And if you go deeper and understand why some people are not benefiting from these government programs, there are issues to do with the land conflicts. If I have conflicts over land with maybe the LC1, he will not even step in my home. Even when they are distributing mosquito nets, they will not register my name.
True.
Now, this grudge has left so many people not benefiting, but also there are others that are not benefiting because some people are taken up by duties. For instance, right now they are doing registration for mosquito nets. We are here busy at work.
Yeah.
So they will go there, they will find our doors locked, they will not find anyone at home, they will bypass us and will not benefit from that. That means we have missed those programs, the services and so on that are meant for us. And this is how some people have been really kicked out of all these government programs, even whether financial, whether material, and also many other things. And this has made many people not really be in the same rate with others. So how do we bridge that kind of gap which is existing? And that's where we're saying no, we need to really look at those particular kind of persons. Since a lot of programs were rolled out, we've seen many left out, and they've continued to complain that the government is not doing enough, and yet government plans for all. And when they're doing census, they count us. Okay?
True.
They say, Dramadri sleeps here, Peace also sleeps here. Now in Yarua City, we have over 33,000 people.
True.
Okay, 33,792. The 92 are the people who are coming every morning for a show. You don't count them when you are giving the services. Now, when you are counting them to ask for services, they are included. Now, when you are delivering the service, they are not included. So, who has done wrong in this? And we have seen this in the 16 days of activism, where partners are actually saying that the strategy of implemented programs or projects needs to be changed, and it should be like community-led, not really the way people do sometimes implementation of programs. They say this is our government, the NRM government, it should come through the channels established by NRM, or sometimes it should come through the LCs who have issues. And I think when we are bringing these services, there's need to look at those kind of particular issues. Who is benefiting? How many have benefited? We should be able to account for those kind of things. Maybe PC, what do you make of this submission and this story of some women being left out because of maybe they have conflicts with the LC system, or they are not relating well, or they are taken up by duties? Yes.
Thank you, Federick. Thank you for the analysis and everything, for the highlights I've given. It's true, in the villages, they always say you will neither be loved or hated by all. So if the LC is the one who have hated you, trust me, there are other people who have not hated you. Because in a leadership, there's not only one person. We have the executives. And so when the LC is moving, maybe from one place to another, you as being a local person, do you also take your time to report to the enforcement teams or to the people who are registering them or who are registering the beneficiaries? Do you also pile your complaints to them? Because if you are not benefiting from any project, you are always blaming the LC, but you are just hiding under your bed. How will people know that you are being affected and you are not getting the services that you need? One thing, as being community, as being people down, let's first rise up. They're always talking about creating awareness, sensitizations, this and that. And sometimes even when you organize meetings with maybe the people who are giving, who are donating, who are giving the nets, people don't open up. They will tell you, for us, we are always receiving the services, we are getting the nets, we are getting this and that. Automatically, you paint an image that you are all benefiting, but also I will urge those people, we are talking about the women specifically, they may be having graduate LCs over maybe something they know best
they
for
like
themselves. For them they like quarreling, but now, how do you open up? How do the LCs, they have executives, they have the secretary, they have the security, they have this team, this and that. Why can't you take your time as an individual? You're also you have to be a beneficiary, even if you have not yet received. You're already a beneficiary. It is for government, and we all know when they're doing census, mostly they have that logo that everyone counts. So if you are among the everyone who is to be counted, why are you again excluding yourself? I'll blame the people who are not benefiting because they have failed to open up, they have failed to come up openly to accuse the LCs in front, or to expose the LCs or the leaders who are making them not to benefit, however much difficult it may be, but there are some channels which can link you to where you are supposed to be. So let those people open up, let them remove the fear factor away from them so that they can be able to benefit no matter how far or how rural you may be. Those things used to be sometimes back whereby can even the LC come and kills you when you have reported him. LC cannot come with a knife or with the panga or even to burn a house that you have reported me maybe to this person, because you before reaching to the top level, you have already engaged the LCs. You went to his office, you have raised your complaints, this and that. So at the end, if you have opened up, if you are to be someone who doesn't have the fear factor for the LCs or for the local leaders, we are going to benefit. One thing which is making people not to benefit from these projects, it is fear for their leaders. People fear exposing the negatives their leaders are doing.
Don't you think that is respect?
What kind of respect? It is not a respect. It is a fear. Fear is different from respect. If I am to respect you, I have to get all the services I need, and it is the same, you have also to get my services. That is the respect. We call it vice versa. But if I fear you, I may be in need of something, but coming up openly to ask or to say, this side you have done wrong, it will become very hard and difficult. That is the thing which is making the people not to get the services they need. It's not only for the LCs, and it is up to every level. You look at society where people fear their leaders so much, it is very hard for them to get the good services that they need. It will always be channeled to those people who are connected, who are close to the leaders, because they feel like even if I leave this one out, I exclude him, the other side, I will get the services, I will get the favor from the people. Maybe getting back to absenteeism we have been talking about. You as being Federick, you know very well, you always leave your home very early, around maybe 6 a.m. in the morning, and most of those movements or the registrations, they are around 9 a.m. What actions do you always take as an individual? Because I know most of the people, wherever you are going, you are registered with the LC. What is the action do you always take? Do you do the follow-ups with the LCs or with the leaders that I had this and this and this happened in this village of ours? You people, can you also engage me? Can you involve me? Can you register me if possible? Because once you go to a village, the LC always asks for your details. What kind of work do you do? At what time do you come to this place? And he will be able to know everything about you. Maybe after work, you can go and settle things down with the LC. But otherwise, we will continue missing some of these services, I will say because of our ignorances. We are ignorant and we are fearful. We don't want to open up on these things. Thank you.
True. The ignorance part is actually widespread, and really we will really implore the leaders, especially the LC system, who are in touch with the community generally, to really make sure that when programs are coming like that, you need to call for an emergency meeting with the community members and really be able to pass out this information. Or if you can't do it like that, you have your committees that you can disperse to every home, and really they disseminate the information. Not necessarily you going physically, because now we have, as LCs, most of them have actually piled a lot of work on them. There's where you have the Secretary for Women Affairs, the Secretary for Youth Affairs, the Secretary representing the elders, you have the other committee members that you may mention, the one for security and so on. Even health is there. So you have to tag all these people responsible. These issues of always looking at the stamp as a revenue source, that is the problem. Most of them, even they have now designed a mechanism of even moving with the stamp in the pocket. Wherever they go with the stamp. Now what does it mean to have a committee running? How will you facilitate this committee? How will you make them active? Because sometimes people are elected, they don't know what they are supposed to do. Not until maybe a very grave offense happens, now they begin looking for, where is the Secretary for Security? Now they will say, hey, you go and check for us where the culprit is hiding. Okay?
Yeah, so that's when
they say the suspect.
That's when security
that's when involved. Now the security
and other
guy is involved. And yet, you don't know that when you are distributing maybe mosquito nets, there's insecurity in it. Some people might hide some of these things. He should be a part of the team that is going to distribute these things, that is going to do the documentation. Who is there to verify these names? It is supposed to be the security person, including the one in health, and also you as the supreme officer in this department. And that's where really I blame that leadership, because it is not being active. But even in the planning, there are no planning meetings, and you see the priorities of the village in 1995 remain the same. They keep fronting them, they change minutes and dates, and they forge signatures. You see these things, they happen. And how many times have you attended your village meeting?
Federick, the fact is,
since you were born.
The fact is,
hey.
The LCs, they have their committees. I like how you have broken it down. We have all those committees that are talking about the health, the education, everything, the security. But you go to any rural setting right now, abruptly, we leave this thing of city status. You go to any rural village, and you ask for the committee in the LC's department or the local council one. You may find they have the head, that is the president, the LC one. You'll find they have the secretary for defense. At times, there are some villages which don't have the vice. It is the secretary or the defense personnel to act like as a backup for the chairperson.
So this must be a relative of the
it is a relative. If I find the chairperson, there is defense, and those are the major ones according to how I always look at those things. And one thing which is making them not to organize routine meetings and maybe not all that active. I remember there was a day a friend of mine was testifying. He went to a LC and asked, but you people, why are not always in your office? Why do you always like moving with the stamps? The LC said, my office is mobile. So I survive on my foot. I have to go and do farming from the other side. I have to do farming. I have to cater for my family. Being a leader, being LC, it's not all that enough. So don't blame me. Maybe when you come and you don't find me, I can't stay in my office. And the question was like, what are they doing to inspire these LCs? What are they doing to motivate the LCs to make sure they stay in their offices? Because most times you find the offices are empty. Even some LCs that don't have offices, if you are to meet them, you have to go to the homestead. And it becomes very hard. How can we come to your home and specifically we're going to sit under a tree. That is the office. Most of the LCs, they have emergency offices, like the mango trees, they're just temporary. And that's one thing which is also affecting service delivery in the community. It is making people to lose trust, and that's where we get it wrong. And one thing.
So what is your solution for everyone to actually benefit from these government programs? Because really, government has done enough in terms of addressing the specific needs of the people. But these avenues have not been able to really reach the intended beneficiaries. So what is your strategy as we go for break?
They have to learn how to motivate the LCs, because even the president himself, wherever he goes, he is always welcomed by LC1. LC, they will tell you that is the president of the area. Do you know, once the LC doesn't welcome you in his territory, you're not allowed to do anything. And if someone is annoyed, if someone is not motivated, if someone is not having the resources, if someone is not having the money that is needed for his daily maybe survival, what do you expect? Automatically the person will run out of the place. But the mere fact, you as LC, that people have entrusted you with the power of ruling them, you have to adhere to the situations. You have to be on the ground, because they said you were called to serve, but not to be served. So if you are to serve, why do you always bring that differentiation between you and others? As leader, you are not for one person, but you are for all. You are for the general population. Let them also look for ways of associating with their people very well, and that's why most times you find LCs are aged people. There are people who knows there are people who reasons and who knows how to handle others very well. If you elect me here as being an LC1 of an area,
undermine you.
You will undermine me, and at times you will not even find me in my office. I'll be a mobile LC. I will, maybe last thing, something which is affecting services in the villages. I've ever experienced this. You find LC have transferred from one village to another, and the LC is staying in the other village. You are the head of this village. How can you serve your people diligently when you are not on the ground to know what is happening? All in all, let LCs, let the leaders settle down. You serve your people, we leave things of maybe the difference aside, and people get the services. You never know. When you give us the right services we need, we may organize we go and help you, we go and cultivate your garden as a give back for the good services done. Thank you.
That is it. Okay, if your community is able to do that, I think that will be the first in Uganda's history to really do voluntary work for the LC, for good work done. But also, LCs, let's take it seriously and make sure that everyone benefits, because these are people who voted you in. And even if there are others who did not vote you, I know by lining you'll be able to see who is behind me and who is not behind me. But when it comes to service delivery, we need to really look at everyone to benefit, because these are meant for us all. Let's take a break from here. We'll be coming back shortly. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Family the bigger feast this Christmas with StarTimes upgrade to Kongere promotion. Novel customers on Antenna Decoder simply pay 16,000 shillings Copper Bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy Basic Bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boeing, series on TLC and Star Life. Even better, we have added all your favorite local channels. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Okay, we're back from that break, and one breaking news that has popped in: the Nazana Kumpi and the Katonga factions of FDC are still battling. We have seen the Nazana Kumpi faction recruiting new members, and also the Katonga faction already going for elections at village level. This is another thing that is happening there in the politics arena, but we will not discuss so much into that. If you have been following the politics of Uganda, we have seen a lot of political talk about the opposition, political parties going into divisionism, and also people failing to reconcile. So what will this happen or have an impact in the next coming elections, that is 2026, that we're looking at? And many are saying that maybe this will be the collapse of FDC, when others are saying no, it is a strength, because really many people will be able to see who is a true leader in the party. That's why we put it there to dot. But the biggest story in this country now is the threat to auction all the defiant Balalo herdsmen animals, and that is the animals that were impounded from different villages, different districts in Lango and Cholisa regions. But for West Nile, they have not really done the impoundment, or they have not really impounded animals or confiscated them. But we are yet to see what impact it will have. But the biggest issue here is, should the animals be auctioned? Is the question. Should they be auctioned, or should we continue also defying the presidential directives and behave with them as if it is a directive from a lover, and maybe the girlfriend will easily forget and forgive? Those are questions that are moving in the minds of many. And if you look at that story, you will see that a lot of days have been given, days have been extended. You remember the May deadline? Do you remember the September deadline? Do you remember the October deadline? And also November deadline. These are very great days that were given by the president of the country, and now directed the state minister for northern Uganda to take lead into this, whose advisor is the 4th Division Commander, that is Michael Kabongo, who is actually the lead person in terms of the enforcement. He is the UPDF Commander 4th Division, that is based in Gulu, and has said that these animals are already in the custody and in the custody of the UPDF, and they are already in the they call it what? The holding ground. Okay, the holding ground is where temporarily you keep animals and you monitor them whether they have diseases or not, and so on. So in 3 days, animals will be auctioned once a court gives that permission to auction the animals. We've seen a lot of issues around this, the Balalo herdsmen. There are already 830 something animals that are in the holding ground from different districts in northern Uganda, and this is what we are coming to discuss right now. Peace.
Yes, Federick.
You have seen a lot of issues coming about the Balalo herdsmen. How did these people, first of all, find themselves in northern Uganda before they were seen in our localities? Because in the Western Nile, we also have a lot of them. Many districts, not only 4 that the commander said. We have seen a rural district also saying something. Jumani is also complaining, and the 4 that were highlighted earlier on. Talk about Moyo, talk about Terego, talk about Madiokolo and Obongi that are already there, and you may also not exceptional. Now there are 7 districts that are complaining around here, and many others in Lango and the Cholcha regions. How did these people find themselves in northern Uganda? Let's start it from there.
Thank you. It's a very good question. It's hard, and at the same time, it is very simple to answer. One thing, we West Nilers, we are just lazy. I will explain that point in the due course of the show. We West Nilers, we are very lazy because...
In terms of what?
Okay,
you want me to answer later?
Okay, let's continue with the laziness part.
Hey.
West Nile, we are lazy in the fact that if you are having 5 heads of cattle and you have 4 children, maybe 3 are at school, 1 is a grown-up, that one person will not accept to go and graze your animal. Am I lying? Yes or no, Federick? It's not a lie.
I don't think that would say I'm lazy.
You're lazy because you don't want to go and graze your own animals, and that is the movement or the background whereby these balalos came in, because we know for them.
Were they grazing the animals of the locals?
Yes.
Are you sure?
At first,
listen. Long-horned animals of our caliber.
Listen, I'm taking you step by step to how these people found themselves in this part of the northern region.
Let's hear that.
The thing is, in case I have 5 heads of cattle and I don't have, that is the people to work on my farm or in my farm, because I've been seeing people employing the locals to go and take care of their animals, and you find the trust in the local people start fading off. So what do? We have the experts, we have the balalos who can take good care of animals. Someone will just get, you cannot tell me they used to be totally no balalos or the Moralos, or people from that side, the cattle grazers within this part of West Nile, or the northern Uganda. They were there, only that they didn't have work to do. And after maybe me failing to cope up well with the local people, you find someone going to hire 1 balalo, just one man to come and graze his heads of cattle. And in the due course, I'll get used to you, we become like family, and at the end, you find that person bringing 1 head of the longhorn. Afterwards, we will continue grazing, you will add another one. At the end, you find there are now like 5 of them. And if there are 5, what do you expect? The bandwagonism effect will now come in, because some people are united. He will tell those people home that, I've got a fertile land, they are accommodating me, and he will even ask you that, can I bring my brother? Will you refuse? Automatically you say no, because that will come to help him. And that's when the thing starts growing step by step. The first Moralo, the Balalo will have 5 heads of cattle. The other brother have come in, you will also come with these 2. Those are already 7, and they will continue multiplying and producing. At the end, when they see that their cattle, the number is overwhelming, they will split. They'll give their own animals, the longhorn, they get their own land, and the other brother will continue grazing, and the process will continue just like that. And that's where we have to see a lot of the balalos in this area of northern Uganda. And I will attribute it to our own people. I remember those days when we were still growing up. We used to graze the animals of our great-grandfathers ourselves, local people. And those days the balalos were very few, because people were used to grazing the animals. So this time around, the laziness is getting high. I don't know whether it is because of the new technology or it is because of the modernization. That is still one thing which is confusing me. Going back to the issue of auctioning of the animals, it is also becoming a controversial move, because at the beginning of the evictions, it was clear the Balalos who have failed to adapt or who have failed to comply with the law will be taken out of the region. They will be escorted back to home. They will be given the transport. The question is, what has happened? What went wrong? Do you mean they were just joking, or they were just threatening them, or they were playing games? Now you are coming up with the initiative of auctioning the animals. Definitely, is that being serious? Meaning the thing at the start is not something they were quite sure of. They were just threatening those guys to leave the place without being, maybe, have they refused to be transferred back home? Have they refused? No. So it's only let the enforcement team first bring the transport means or take them to their places. If they refuse, that's where you bring the alternative of auctioning. We know in this country, Uganda, you don't auction things at once. Even we've been saying shako. When a shako is impounded, or the motorcycles have been impounded, they don't auction them at once. They give some period of maybe 2 weeks or 1 month for the owners to come and they negotiate. But these things of the Balalos, the bad thing, I will blame the government, because at the start they said we are going to provide you with transport, we are going to provide you with security to transport you back to your home. The question, which is having no answer right now, what went wrong?
Okay, what went wrong is on the side of government, and the State Minister for Northern Uganda, that is Grace Freedom Gwichin, has actually communicated that they already have secured transport. Okay, your question will be answered here, that they have already secured a ferry that will be actually transporting these animals from Wajuman to Gulu, and also where they'll be able to reach where they came from, and that's one way they are going to actually transport these animals. They have given 3 days, so in the 3 days, if you cannot respond with your animals, that means the ultimatum is gone. But Federick, they can easily sell.
But we are seeing already some have been impounded, others already under the custody of the authorities.
No, it's a holding ground.
So you are helping, they're helping the Balalos to take good care of their animals. They are trying to keep them safe for them.
No. The logic is just like when there's an outbreak of diseases, or when they have brought new animals before they mix with others in a farm. There's supposed to be a holding ground where you keep these animals, observe them whether they have diseases or not, and so on. And then that's when now you can disperse them into, or mix them with other animals. And that's the same thing, not like human beings where they're taken to cells and because you have, you have gotten some issues. But the holding ground is a temporary ground to monitor the animals because there were allegations of outbreak of foot and mouth diseases. They want to see whether these signs are there. And also they want to also see whether there are other diseases that may be presented in these animals, and that's why these animals were taken to the holding ground. But now in these 3 days, if you have failed to surface and say, yes, I have this number of animals that were in the holding ground, they can be transported within these 3 days, that means they will auction your animal. And the question comes back to what we show communicated by the brigade, actually the division commander, where he said government will not provide transport, and it will be the farmers to avail transport. But now there's an alternative. What does this mean? Does it mean that they are going to take all these animals, or they are just focusing on the animals in Lango and the Cholisha regions and leave in West Nile here? Because in his statements, he actually said the animals in West Nile do not have really much issues. The biggest issue is in Choli and the Langosha regions. So should we keep quiet over what is happening in West Nile? What is the impact created by this Balalo harassment? Why is it that it is an urgent need that these people have to go? much as you said about how they were able to come in, they came in that style of having coming to graze, help Jalsiga's animals to graze.
Because I'm very busy.
But now he says he's busy working at Western TV. His animals have to be there. But we have seen a lot of dangers seen in this. Many people have complained about the animals being looted. Many people have complained about how these people are trying to grab people's land, and also the issues of crop destruction, because for them they don't care. Animals move just like that. They don't even go and maybe guard your crops and so on. They have a lot of unanswered questions that are pent in cases in LCs and also at police. These are because of the impacts of this Balalo harassment. So will this auctioning or evictions come into force? That's what we want to really see. Maybe peace. What do you make of the issues surrounding the holding ground and also auctioning these animals? Now that you have given us a very good background about how people became in friendship, even others married off their daughters and so on, like that. How do you think this will be ionized?
Thank you. Once again, the issue, something which I would even say has been letting down the evictions of the Balalos, is the friendship they've created with the people. Though they're being accused of maybe land grabbing, these land conflicts, someone cannot come from nowhere and grab your land. The connections is people have started selling land to these Balalos. People have been selling lands, and you find someone maybe selling at 100,000, this 200,000. But my major issue with them is how they relate with the community, because for them they use with the freestyle system of grazing and rearing their animals. They just move freestyle. They just apply the system of free grazing. When you go back to your SST of those primary level, you know what free grazing is, whereby the animals just move freely. And they use that system whereby you just send the animals, they move, they eat, you just one person to control. There are 1,000 animals, and how that thing flows. But getting back to these things of auctioning, you are giving them now 3 days, and you're going to say you are auctioning their animals.
No, the 3 days. The 3 days given. Okay, it's okay. Let me clarify. The 3 days given is to transport the animals. So in the 3 days,
that's what I'm saying.
In an event you fail to turn up, that's when they can now auction your animals.
They have given them 3 days. The transfer will take how many days? Transferring the animals. Remember, they're going to use ferry. In a day, how many times does a ferry move? And how many ferries do we have? Are they going to provide alternatives? Are they going to provide very many ferries to transport those people? They have animals after animals. So you're giving them 3 days. We are saying one person may have around 800 heads of cattle. that thing is so confusing. That 3 days, trust me, 3 days are not enough to transfer all the Balalos from Asholi and Lango sub-region. So I'm saying that thing will not happen, and there will be no auctioning. They will extend those days. Because 3 days are too small. Even me, I will say 3 days are too small. At least let them extend it to 1 week. If they're serious about the move, at least for 1 week. Then from there you start the auctioning part. And getting back, you pose another questions like why is the focus mostly in the Asholi and Lango sub-region, not necessarily the West Nile region. We have been saying, though we have the Balalos this side of West Nile, there are very few. They're not all that much, though there are some 1-2 conflicts with the community, but their population is not all that much. In Uganda, we say majority counts. So that side they have the numbers that is affecting people at a large space if you compare it to this side of West Nile sub-region. So that is the reason, that's why they're starting with those people of Asholi and Lango. Then West Nile will come after. But all in all, let them sort themselves out. They're saying the Balalos who have failed to adhere to the rules and the policies, they're going to auction their animals. We wait and see. In Uganda, we are good at coming up with the policies, but I will not shy up to say implementations of some of these things is still lacking. Thank you.
Okay, presidential directives have so many times been abused, and that is, I'm sorry to say that, because really people who are maybe supposed to implement such directives sometimes have all those bureaucracies they interface with, and many times people will tend to start negotiating directives. I don't know why.
But
you remember the PDM directive?
Yes.
Yes. What happened? We have seen some districts already giving people at 100,000, 50,000,
negotiating,
and then the government said give them 1 million because 100,000 will not really do farming for piglets. Really, if somebody is venturing into pig rearing, he has to buy that good quality. You know, the good quality of piglets is 150,000 local here. We have seen the white ones,
yes.
And those are good breeds that can be able to fetch a very good amount of money. Now, establishing the structures, okay, the housing, the feeding, and so on. If you give someone 100,000 or 200, even 500, will not cater for that.
True.
So people have abused this one, and if you look at other directives, many of them, they have always been abused. And we show this one of the charcoal.
Yeah, the charcoal ban.
Okay, the dealing in forest products. It has also been really another headache here, where you see the security personnel accused of being actually fueling the thing, and then they're supposed to be the one implementing or enforcing on over that. But also we have seen this one of the balal. You remember the deadline? The deadline was in May.
From May
it came to September. And also sometimes also the president kept swifting it. Now it became like everyone can joke around it. So that means we need to be serious when we are giving these directives. We need to see the need for the directive. We need to see also who is actually supposed to implement it. And also have we cleared the ground for the person to actually also implement this directive. You might say, I'm directing that, just like what RCC said, I'm directing that all the LC1s should start registration of their villagers, the populates. But they don't have even pens. The LC1 does not have a booklet to write these things. You see that? Now that's what I'm saying. We need to clear the ground for these people to thrive in those directives. If you are saying we're directing that maybe the state minister for northern Uganda should take a lead to evict all the balalo in northern Uganda, do we have the transport? Do we have the testing kits to see whether these animals do not have diseases? How about the conflict that was created by these balalo men? There were others. There are some cases of some of them being accused of stealing people's animals. Have these cases been resolved? How about the issues of people's crops being destroyed? These have not been had. Now you are saying you are taking them away. That means these people are moving with the local people's animals. You see that? These are things that may even be another grudge or give a lot of hardship to the leaders in northern Uganda. So those are things really we need to also look at as we are given directives. We should be able to give at least a very fair play when these directives are being implemented. But also the timeline for these directives, we should not be shifting them each and every time. If we shift them from one time to the other, it loses its meaning of being a directive. It becomes like a proposal. You see that?
So you're proposing to the national,
yes, that I'm proposing by the end of September, these people should be able to go. Now you see that change. Now people started saying, hey, there's outbreak of foot and mouth disease. Now when you go to the holding ground, this disease is not seen in it. But so those are the politics that are at play. We'll continue from here, but let's take a break shortly. We'll be coming back.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Family the bigger feast this Christmas with StarTimes upgrade to Kongere promotion. Novel customers on antenna decoder simply pay 16,000 shillings Copper Bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy basic bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boeing, series on TLC and Star Life. Even better, we have added all your favorite local channels. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Okay, we're back from that commercial break and discussing still pertinent issues to do with the eviction of the Balalo herdsmen. I mean, taking the animals to where they came from, because really nobody can tell me that there's no land for these people to graze animals. How do you have as a passion 800 animals and you tell me that these animals have been grazing somewhere where there's no land?
No, they may not be having. They may not be having. I said it clearly at the start. Sure? I said it at the start. You find the other side someone is just serving 100 meters or 1 acre.
But how will these animals be able to multiply from that place?
No, not from that place. Remember I told you the background of how these people came in. Someone will started with maybe 1 animal, 2 animals, 3 animals. So the animals keep multiplying from this side, and that's where you see the population going. You continue.
But it's okay. The viewers, we are back and we have been discussing so much into the issues of the Balalo herdsmen. Government has given an ultimatum to already auction animals over the defiant Balalo herdsmen. This is resulting from the issues of people trying to look at the directives given by government as a proposal that they can easily play around with. And I remember they were the whole of this year has so much been, the talk has been around the Balalo herdsmen, how they were able to really cause a lot of hunger in Western Nile, in northern Uganda generally, but also looking at the issues of security, where these people move with guns. It is fearing. It's something that many fear to associate with, because in northern Uganda we have faced a lot of issues with the gun, the rebel activities, and now that people have turned to be peaceful, they don't want to see people who are carrying guns amidst the communities, and that's why they feel like the herdsmen should go away and really leave their land, so that they are able to really do a lot. For the roadmap of taking these animals, starting today, the 3 days start today. and will end by the end of this week. And that means from today, the animals from Juma district, let me read, and the animals from the areas of Juma district and also talk about Madisab region will be taken through the route of Ajuman, Atiak, Gulu, Kamdin, and Karuma route. Okay, that's when they will find their exit. But also, if you look at the animals that are sighted in the areas of Arua district, Terego, Madiokolo, and Moyo, including Pakwach, will be able to use this route of the route from Arua going direct to Pakwach, and that will be where they'll be finding their exit, moving the other direction. And also many others. The route chart is clear, and all of the district leaders are already aware about this route chart. But also the animals, if once the week ends, that means from today up to Friday, that's the deadline. So meaning over the weekend things can cook out, and we'll be buying animals in at a cheaper cost. You know, government auctioning things. When they auction it, they always put them at a cheaper cost so that they all move out. Yeah, they don't have that burden of grazing the animals. Yeah, because or maybe they may distribute it for Uhuru or the Christmas that is coming forth. I don't know.
Federick, that thing can never happen. If they do distribution just for free, it will also give another sign to the government. So,
but anyway, that was a joke. That was a joke around there. But the biggest issue there is the route chart is out. The roadmap was released yesterday. So by today, animals should be leaving northern Uganda, and that is the communication from the State Minister for Northern Uganda. And when she was stressing on these issues, as she said, actually they gave a lot of ample time for these people to actually prepare and also be able to come voluntarily with the animals to present themselves to the district veterinary officers, but also through the security channels. Talk about the GISOs, the Paris security committees, and then talk about those in the districts, the DISOs, and also the LC systems. They were able to at least cite where these people stay. So in case any of them voluntarily fails to turn out, they'll be able to now force them into that kind of situation, meaning they can be able to now empower the animals and sell them off, because really the president gave directives. If you are really a resident of this place, can you fence off that land where you have the animals, okay, to have a proof. Now, if you're fencing off somebody's land, that means people will be able to say, no, you're fencing off my land. And that's when your residence will lose its meaning. People will be able to really at least show that you are not a resident here by not fencing the land. That was one of the tricks the president actually gave. Now, we have not seen any of them fencing any land, but they've continued to graze animals. And that's the bad part of it. And most of these animals spread a lot of diseases and also caused a lot of havoc in people's crops. So peace. Is this eviction much needed? Is it a good move now? And also, do you think the 3 days are enough for us to move with the eviction? Because they are only not going to use the ferries, as I said earlier on. The ferry is only for those maybe in Ubongi, those in Jumane and so on, because they are located in areas where they cannot easily access a very good route, a street route. That's why it is directed through the ferry. You know, people from Ubongi have to climb the ferry before they reach Ajuman and also join the Atiak road. So that's why they said they are going to use ferry to take those animals. Don't get scared that the ferry is small and the animals are too big and they may not really be able to do that. Government has hired a lot of lorries that will be able to take these animals.
We are waiting. Thank you, Federick. Getting back to issues. Africans, Ugandans, at times we are very poor when it comes to following policy, when it comes to following law. At times, I don't understand why we first want to be pushed by force so that we can follow something. This is not the first time. We saw during COVID-19, they brought in, that is the, not quarantine, curfew. It was
the first time you saw curfew.
Yeah, curfew. Because some of us have never heard of a word called curfew. At first it was more peaceful. They gave directives that at least by 7 p.m. you people find yourself home. Don't move around the road. Don't do this and that. But people fail to comply. What do? They have to bring in the gunmen, the men in uniform, even if they were not in guns or with guns, but they're in uniform. So I think Ugandans, one thing which is affecting us so much, we have failed to follow peaceful means of solving things. We have failed to harmonize ourselves. We are seeing most of these projects, all the government programs, being channeled down towards the army. Very many of them, you know them very well.
Even construction.
Yeah, even construction.
The army has to come in to see quality work.
And at times,
and even distribution of animals.
Yeah, and at times you ask yourselves, is this the right thing to be done? Are they experts? Are there real experts in army who can monitor some of these things? I'm not undermining them, they may be there, but how many are they? And all these things are being caused by the locals, by the citizens, because if the government is saying, please, let's organize, you assemble your animal and you come, do a peaceful transfer. You don't want to comply to that. What do you expect that is the authorities to do? They say where peace has failed, you go for violence or you apply some force. That's why you are seeing force is coming in, because the government or the country, they have been lenient to these balalos since March, since May. They have been giving them this period 2 months, this period 3 weeks, these other periods, this and that. But still, people have failed to comply to these directives being given to them. The peaceful way of that is eviction. It was a peaceful means of evicting them, because at first they said the armies will just help to guard them in going. You have to organize yourself peacefully and you go. But still, the destruction is getting too much, and that's why they have to involve in the army to also come resolve the conflicts between the people, the owners of the land, and also the balalos. And probably one last thing, we are talking about fencing. Not all the balalos or the herdsmen, they're having their own land with land titles. Others are grazing on a land. They're renting. Can you fence my land? You're renting. I cannot accept. Yeah, others are using land which were just given to them, donated to them temporarily by the locals. So those are some of the things. If they were supposed to first go on ground to do, that is to mark the difference. Who is owning a land? Who is having land titles? Why have you not fenced your land? It is not like you go by force that you people, you go away, you leave this land. No, because there was some mutual agreement between the herdsman and the local person down there who is the owner of the land. So for evicting them, maybe, Federick, is not something good by force. Let them first give them, sometimes, because now they have been giving them, maybe they extend it up to the end of the year.
Maybe so before you go and conclude on that, I want to pick a point from you, from that point. You have said the eviction is uncalled for.
It is uncalled for.
In my own terms, it's uncalled for, and it needed not to be done at this period. And maybe who benefits in this this business, this transaction? The herdsmen, the farmers, the local governments, and the central government. Who benefits in this deal?
At this particular point in time, there is no beneficiary.
Hi. How can a business go without a beneficiary? There's a beneficiary. So I want us to know from the transactions.
It is not a business, because
we have been able to understand that the herdsmen have been able to rent at some point land from people. Okay. Is that a benefit? We'll get that. And also, you have the local governments who are there adamant. They even don't know whether there are implications of these people on the communities. But in terms of production of agriculture, in terms of maybe farming, where most of our people venture in, people are so much into farming, not really real animals. In terms of production, you see the districts losing out in this. Okay,
True.
Famine has dwindled, crops have been destroyed, a lot of cases have been filed against the Balalo and so on. And the herdsmen have seen the animals multiplying in numbers. They have found free land, grazing land, water, and so on. And this is one point where I'm asking the question, who benefits in this deal? And now, the central government taking its toll to make sure that they give even free transport, because these are citizens of Uganda, taking them to where they came from, okay? So that we minimize these issues of somebody saying, I don't have transport to take the animals back. But how did the animals come to West Nile? How were they able to come? Were they flown using airplane? Were they carried by eagles? That is another issue. So, and now that the central government has taken the initiative to transport these animals at a free cost, so what does this mean? Who gains and who loses in this? It will make us to make a reasonable opinion about whether the evictions are called for or not.
Since they have stayed for long in Asholi and West Nile, let them sign a memorandum of understanding with
again for what?
Listen, with the owners of the land. You signed a memorandum of understanding that says you are the owner of this land. For me, I'm yet taking half of these animals home. So you first this remaining land, because they are saying not all the Balalos are going to be evicted, but only the few who have failed to comply with the law are the ones who are going to be evicted and taken back home. And if you can, within these few hours, if you can strike some understanding with the owner of the land that, oh God, let's make some deal. You say, now these are your animals. You make some fence, you keep them. And probably, because we are seeing they have now become one people, they are used to each other, and we have seen even the government has been urging people of northern Uganda to start, that is, more engaging or involving themselves in animal grazing and rearing. So that will be work out. But trust me, the Balalos, right now, Federick, they can't do a clear fencing for their animals, and selling them by themselves, like the real owners, they cannot sell their animals. There are too many. They can't sell them with this urgently, and also they can't fence the lands which they are living in. All in all, let the government transfer them peacefully to where they belong. Because, as we have said, even if they have 1 acre of land, at first let them first go down there. They sort themselves from their land. In your own area, you can't fail to get a land that belongs to your people. If things get worse, you give them to the family from where they're going. You say, families, I went and I hustled, I invested, so this is the outcome of what I've been doing. Trust me, your family can never let you down. So let the Balalo also coordinate and work with the government so that they are transferred peacefully, but evicting them within these few remaining days. I like one thing you posed. Who is the beneficiary in this thing?
Yes.
It will cause losses to all the sectors.
Sure.
Yeah, there's no beneficiary right now.
Okay, in my opinion, the Balalo herdsmen benefit a lot in this deal. And I weigh this from the start. I told you, these people came with few number of animals. The animals have multiplied, they are healthy, they are looking good, they have fed from the best pasture in this country, and also they have been able to really even graze without any expenses, by the way. You understand that? And also free land, and also many other things have been at free cost. So that is one benefit I'm taking. I'm actually trying to tell you. And two, in terms of security, there have not been cases of their animals getting missing and so on. But instead, the local animals have been lost to these Balalo herdsmen. And also, if you look at now the deal that the government is doing with the Balalo herdsmen, you realize that they gain a lot in this. First of all, the animals are vaccinated at a free cost. The animals are also tested for other diseases before transportation. And the transportation is also now free. Because of the plights they raised, they said they don't have money to take these animals out. and that is one gain they have been able to get. So that means the Balalo actually benefit more in this deal than the local people and also the local governments. That means if we are saying we want to evict them, the people will be able to actually come back to a status where they can be able to actually venture into farming rather than really having all the time issues with the Balalo herdsmen. But also, Peace, your deal with the Balalo herdsman is good. It's for your personal gain as a farmer or as a landlord. But look at Dramadri, who does not have any deal with any Balalo, but he's there busy growing a lot of crops. Now you have benefited in that deal you have struck. These animals keep on moving to other people's crops. They will not really necessarily remain in the fenced area, because I know the area you'll be fencing might not be able to keep these animals for quite a long period of time. And that is where we have issues, and that's why people were raising a lot of issues that they don't want to see these people here. It's not that they have issues with the landlords, but they have issues with the farmers who are seriously venturing into crop production, and that's where really the issue is becoming very, very great.
Federick,
so let's have our last thoughts about this, so that we answer the newsroom.
Maybe to summarize it all, the reason as to why I was saying they strike a deal, because you, as being a local person, you also have your own crops, you have your own garden, you will automatically know how to control the movements of the animals, because you also feel the pain of losing your crops to animals. So that is the reason as to why I was trying to say the locals should strike a deal with the Balalos. Leaving that one aside, we have exhausted too much of that. But now, as I've said, we are coming towards the end of the show, and we have discussed a lot. That is right from local up to the international. I remember you highlighted something small about the plight of that is the local women, the rural women, or the local communities not getting so much as far as that is government services are concerned in the rural places. One thing is discrimination. Some societies up to now still undermine women. They look at them as being inferior race that is in the community, and that is one thing which is affecting them so much. And also the women themselves, they undermine themselves. I remember in my village they organized for elections of women representatives.
Self-esteem.
But the women were all shying away that I'm very busy, I cannot be a leader. So what do you expect them to do? You are a man acting on your behalf. I cannot be a women's council chairman. So in case something comes to the council, the women, they don't have someone to represent them in the council. We may be having a meeting, but don't have a representative. So that is one thing which is affecting service delivery. So as women, let them first come up and open up so that they become part of the council. Otherwise, nothing much to say. As being Wednesday, it's a midweek. People who are at their workplaces, you go and do your hustle. Meanwhile, for those who are still at work, at least you get something for breakfast, okay? We don't want you to faint at your workplaces.
Also is too much
also is getting common because there are some tendencies with the working class. They pretend to be too busy. They even forget about breakfast.
The worst is those who are holding computers.
Yeah, those who are holding computers because by the way, breakfast is very important. You may find out you have taken your supper around 7 p.m. Up to now you have not taken anything. So however much busy are you on your computer, please go have breakfast. Thank you, Federick.
All right, Peace. Thanks a lot for joining me in this, and also we'll be really be glad to push at the end of the day. I know we'll be meeting there at Nilecast, and also before Nilecast, you have the Lemangia, that is the midday, where you'll be also calling people to come and eat with you. And I appreciate that. You see that. Sure. Okay, those who have been following us, and also who have been part of this show, we appreciate you so much that you have been able to make it. We have been able to exhaustively do a lot in terms of the Balalo herdsmen, and also what is actually growing up. And this is just because really it's a pertinent issue in this country. The talk of the country is about security and also the economy, which is said to have been stunting because of agriculture. So how do we make sure that everyone benefits in the deal instead of one party community benefiting. That's very, very important, and also many other issues that we'll be able to discuss. And we'll be catching up back again tomorrow, the same time, the same show, and also different issues coming front. We'll have Dijon, who is behind the camera there, and also Aldo, who is a producer. My name is Federick Dramadri. I've been here with Peace Yochak. Up next is the news in Lombardy, brought to you by Feta Emmanuel. Thank you.